Over the past 10 years, I've built my career in affiliate marketing, generating over $70 million in commissions. Along the way, I've spent millions of dollars testing, tweaking, and scaling campaigns on Facebook ads. And in this video, I'm breaking down the 7 most valuable lessons I've learned. I will share my insights that will no doubt help you avoid costly mistakes, scale your campaign faster, and make every ad dollar matter. So first things first, it doesn't matter how good your ads are, how amazing your Facebook ad account setup is, and how amazingly you set up your campaigns. If the product you're selling or the offer you're promoting is not good enough, it won't work. So let's not get it wrong. Like sometimes the answer isn't even in the technicalities. It might be due to the fact that what you're promoting and the margins that you need to maintain are simply not good enough. And actually made a separate video that you can find in the description to watch later on, where I teach you exactly how to find winning offers and how to build the perfect products to run and scale on Meta and on other platforms. Back to our video. First things first is the setup. So are you gonna use your own ad accounts or are you gonna use agency accounts? We all face ad account bans. It doesn't matter what we really promote, although I'm gonna tackle that in just a minute, but we always face easily ad account bans. So there are 2 ways to go about it. So either use your own ad accounts, and ideally you already have an existing support at Meta, which is extremely hard to get, especially as a beginner, but it's not impossible. Or you work with agency accounts. And how do agency work? Well, they basically have that relationships that you're looking for with Meta themselves. So they're gonna be able to provide you with almost endless ad accounts that you need. So even if you do get banned, they're gonna bring you back in the game by giving you a new ad account. Second, white hat products only. You don't wanna mess with products that are not compliant on Facebook, because why would you entertain the thought of run a product that goes against the very own policies of the platform? So a lot of people get in trouble because they run products that are simply not allowed. So instead, you want to run white hat products. And what are white hat products? Well, in a nutshell, is anything that is ethically okay to promote. So think about a gadget that works very well and that helps solve real issues for people, instead of a black hat product such as scammy cryptocurrency trade platform or a casino and betting company, which we can argue if it's good or bad for the world. In my opinion, is not good for the world, and that's exactly why it's not even allowed on Facebook, because it creates addiction. So if you're running white hat products and you learn the policies as if that is your new Bible, you're gonna go very far with your Facebook campaigns, and you're not gonna encounter as many ad account bans. And by the way, before I mention agencies, good agencies are only gonna work with you if you don't promote aggressive or black hat stuff, but only the good white hat stuff. Put an angel thing on me. Campaign setups. So I run a media buying company, basically. So we're all affiliates, right? And we all need to launch campaigns on a daily basis. When a new media buyer starts joining my company, scalers, they always have like the same confusions about campaign settings. And that's exactly what I teach also in my programs. Campaign setups are usually the easiest thing that we can imagine if we need to compare to the difficulties of other things, which we're gonna cover in a bit. Only need one campaign, one ad set, and a bunch of ads running in the same ad set. Oh, but how do you deal if you wanna test for ads and spread out the budget in different ads? So that is also okay. That is not gonna move the needle forward. It's not gonna make or break a campaign. The goal for a campaign nowadays is just to spend your budget. And the goal for you is to test as many ads as possible in order to find the next winner. So I don't care if you put it under one ad set or under 3 different ad sets, as long as you spend the money and you get actual data coming through the door that allows you to make good decisions. And speaking of decisions, I'm gonna tell you later in this video when it's actually time to scale and what to expect when you start scaling. So don't mess with like creating like 100 different campaigns. Focus on one campaign. In the campaign, you can start testing different lookalike audiences. That's something I always recommend my media buyers. If you have existing user database of what your ideal customer looks like, upload the list of buyers as a custom audience, then create a lookalike of 1% of your custom audience and start launching 1 to 5% lookalike. There is no right or wrong. Generally, what you can expect is that if you have the narrow 1% is going to probably outperform different audiences. But the main rule here is the triple T, test, test, test. In order to find out what works, you need to test. Ad account score, that's something to keep in mind. A lot of people run white hat products in a very good setup and still get banned because their ads are too aggressive, because the score of the account is too fragile, because it's a very fresh account. You launch an ad, the first ad you launch gets disapproved, boom, your account is gone and you can't create ads ever again. So to avoid that, usually what we do to prepare and warm up the accounts is to launch post-engagement campaigns to increase the page likes of our Facebook page. So basically the strategy is here to launch a bunch of ads that are for sure gonna get approved to increase the quality of your ad account. Because if later on you actually start uploading some ads and one gets disapproved by mistake or even for a right reason, Facebook is gonna look at the account and gonna be like, okay, I have 9 ads that got approved, 1 is disapproved. I have no real ground to actually ban this guy right away. So basically it's gonna help you lower the risk of ad account bans. So always keep a good ratio between approvals and disapprovals. So if you have a disapproval, it's gonna impact negatively your account. So just launch some page likes campaigns just to increase a bit the reputation of your ad account. On top of that, you want to monitor the comment sections under the posts of your ads. There is nothing worse than an unmonitored comment section, because that's where a lot of objections come up, and that's where you can learn a lot about your ideal customers and actually take that feedback and answer those objections in your upcoming ads. And second, if you don't monitor them, there could be people just spamming in the comments, using swear words in the comments because maybe they had a bad customer experience with either your product or they had a problem with a different brand, but they think that, hey, because maybe you're selling a similar product, you're the same brand, and they start spamming under your comments negatively. So you need to address those. Ideally, you create a list of blocked words that will help you filter out bad comments right away. And that's something you can actually build on the side, and you can start populating the more words you start collecting throughout your Facebook experience. But words such as like, I don't know, scam, it's negative, it doesn't work, you're a liar, blah, blah, blah. You can put all these keywords and all the comments would automatically be blocked and they will not show up in your comment section. At the same time, you're gonna solve 90% of your problems if you're running white hat products. So good products that people generally like, that have a good experience for good brands. Doesn't matter if you're an affiliate or if it's your own product that you're promoting as a e-commerce owner or info product owner or SaaS, whatever it is, and follow the policies. Because even if your product is good, but you're advertising it in a very aggressive way to make a weight loss supplement example, it's a bad thing to say you're gonna lose 10 pounds this week and make a strong claim. That is gonna be flagged and it's gonna be considered as aggressive, and Facebook doesn't like you making claims and it's gonna likely disapprove your ads. Instead, say things like, this supplement supports your gut health and promotes weight loss. We're selling the same product in 2 different ways. One is gonna get you in trouble, one is gonna be okay with Facebook. You need to find out the language that is okay with Facebook, and that is gonna maintain your ad account score high. Next, what are the first week's expectations? Because you see a lot of us that are just getting started with the game, they don't know what to read and what to focus on with all these metrics, and they don't know what to expect. So it's very normal that you're gonna see insane CPMs right off the gate, simply because Facebook still doesn't understand who to target specifically for your product. It's learning. It's burning more of your budget than at a later stage when it's optimized, when it had like 50 to 100 conversions already stored and in place. So the first 1 to 2 weeks, usually 2 weeks, are not gonna be great. You're just gonna have high costs, but you should get to your first sales. Because if you don't get any sales or any conversions at all, that's probably something very wrong, especially on Facebook. Because if you wanna compare it, for example, to YouTube ads, Facebook is much quicker in optimizing for purchases. Why? Because Facebook holds way more data than YouTube does. Simply because if you are on Facebook, you have an account, you have history, you have data. But on YouTube, not everyone has a YouTube channel or they're not logged in their Google. So that's why Facebook wins in the short term, because it can optimize much quicker. So you should expect sales, but you shouldn't expect that you're already scaling, and which absolutely fine. So usually when I run a product in the US, as an example, doesn't matter if it's lead gen, e-com or info, I will always see CPMs above $100, $150, $200. But what happens throughout the time is that these CPMs actually come down to a more market standard for my niche, which is usually anywhere between $30 to $80, depending on what I'm promoting. But what I know is that at first, I know I'm not gonna scale. I know that I should expect some sales. And if I monitor the CPMs, I can see that there's gonna be a downtrend after more spend. So if you're serious about learning affiliate marketing or scaling your business to new heights, I actually made another video that you can find in the description down below, so you can go and watch it after this video. Next one is how and when do we scale a campaign and what to expect there. So let's start with when do we scale. So first off, I do want to see some profitability at first. I don't want to scale in a negative way. I might increase some budgets at very first because I want to gather up more data, but definitely don't want to scale. Spending more actually allows you to accelerate the learning phase because you're going to start generating more conversions and Facebook is going to learn faster that way. So usually if I start a product, let's say I start at $100 to $300 a day, I'm going to keep it there for the first few days. Then I want to see some sort of positive sign. If I have 4 ads in my ad set, at least expect 1 ad to do decent so that I can turn off the other ads or just focus more ad spend on 1 ad that seems to be more proven to work. It's already generating profits or was very close to break even. That's when I want to start spending more money. Until then, I just need to have a high enough budget enabled to collect significant data and test more ads until I find the 1 ad that starts making me more money. If I have an ad that is consistently throughout the week making solid profits, then that's where I'm gonna scale and spend more money. And the way I do that is very simple. I don't care about 10% budget increases. So as an example, go from $300 to $330 because that's just low. And especially if you're running in the US, usually you're gonna be able to spend at least $3,000 a day profitably. Otherwise, something is very, very wrong with your product, or you're just not scalable enough because your ads are not good enough. So I quickly go from like 300 to 600 to 600 to $1,200 a day. For me, anything under $5,000 to $10,000 in ad spend is still testing because that's what I'm used to spend in the US. In the US, you have $50,000, $100,000 campaigns per day. So I'm not gonna bother with small increases. I'm simply gonna double until it works. That's exactly what one of my students that is gonna pick me up tomorrow in a supercar. He started as a beginner. He was doing $200 a day in profits for like 2 weeks. And then every time he upped the budget by a bit, like $250, he saw that the ROI wasn't as stable anymore. So first off, Facebook needs to readapt the budget. So it's okay that if you increase the budget, 1 day you're gonna be negative or even 2 days. But you don't have to judge the campaigns by day, judge them by the week. How much can you spend and how much are you making in the week? So fluctuations are absolutely normal. That's just something that we need to deal with. It's not like a straight line. It's always gonna be like up and down as long as the trend is upwards. So I told him like, listen, don't panic. It's normal to see fluctuations, especially when you're spending low. Because when you're spending low, 1 sale, 1 conversion can have a tremendous impact on your final ROI. Let's put this in numbers. If I'm spending $200 a day and I generate 4 sales and each sale is worth $50, let's say break even to keep it simple. If I generate 1 extra sale, so 5 sales, I'm plus 25%. If it's 1 lower, I'm in minus. So fluctuations at this scale are very, very normal to see because you just don't have enough spend to keep that more stable. So that's why I say, don't even bother with small increases, just double until it works. So to recap, I only scale when I find a profitable ad and I have like consistent days, if not a week of profits on that specific ad. I focus my budgets on that ad. And then how do I scale? I just double budgets. I go from 300, 600, 1.2, 2.4, 4.8, 10, and so on, until I get to a sweet spot where I'm like, okay, how much can I actually scale? Because then you get to a point, not at $1,000 a day, more likely $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a day, when you start adjusting and finding that sweet spot where you spend less and you actually make more profit than if you did spend more. But that's for another time. Last but not least, day parting. Day parting makes a tremendous change in your profitability in your campaigns. So if you're running lead gen, you're probably day parting already because you can't spend during all the business hours. Because if you're generating leads that they need to be called, then you need to work with the business hours of your call center. So you spend any given hour of the day as long as you profit. But guess what? There's still some times in the day where you generate more profits than others. So what we do is just applying rules and just spending in those hours where I see the most profits. Why would I spend all day long if first part of the day, as an example, makes me all the profit, and then the second part of the day doesn't generate me as much profit or even loses money? So as an affiliate, I want to maximize my profit and I don't care about the back end because it's not up to me. But as an e-com owner, as an example, why would you bother collecting so many orders if then they're not even profitable? You just create more headaches, depending on your business goals, by the way. Hey, I'm just assuming here, but you still want to maximize your profits, right? Because profits solve all the problems. So if you day part and you just focus your campaigns to spend in specific hours, you're gonna maximize your profit. To do that, you need to be analytical, export the sales data tracked in your ad account and analyze it on the sheets and just group them up. Hour per day, you can have ChatGPT do it for you. I don't care. As long as you see like, hey, how much money do I spend per hour in the last month, as an example, and where do I make the most profit? Based on that, I'm going to apply rules to turn the campaigns on and off depending on the time. And there you go. I'm going to only spend during the hours where I see the most profits. Test if this works for you. It does work for us. We maximize the profits. The only thing you need to keep in mind with this is since you have a daily budget, it's not going to spend the full budget. So let's say you put a budget up to $1,000 a day to keep it simple and you only spend half a day, you're probably going to spend anywhere between $500 and $800. So if you want to spend more, just increase the daily budget and the final amount of ad spend is going to be bigger. But it's never going to be 100% of the daily budget you set. If you want to go deeper and you're serious about scaling, I made this other video that you can find in the description that you can now go watch. And that's basically the blueprint that allowed me to do $1 million a month. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.